Yo, what's going on, beautiful people? So I'm gonna do a quick review of Path of Exile. I'm a new player to this game, and just want to bring it to you guys. My review, basically my point of view, being have never played PoE 1, never played PoE 2. So I started playing this game. I've been seeing videos on it, and I decided that I wanted to give it a try. And I want to give you guys my perspective as a new player on how I feel about the game and the things that I like and dislike about the game. So, a couple of things: whenever you're creating a character, you don't have that many options. The options that you get are basically you pick a class, and that's all you get. You can't even choose male and female characters, you can't customize your character. So, if you like doing that, this game does not include that. Okay, maybe in the future they will. It is in early access still, so hopefully they change that in the future and give us some options. It'd be cool to have our own customized character. I don't know if they include that on Path of Exile 1, but yeah, that's one of the things that is kind of a negative, not a deal breaker, just details. The skills in the game look pretty cool. So if you, for example, like I play as a bow character, and I am playing mainly with a poison damage. So if I go to this map here and I want to just shoot things, basically my skills like they split into four and they damage everything that's around me. Okay, this is my main skill. But then I have a couple other skills, like this one that explodes, does damage, this one that does like multiple shots at once. So the skills are pretty cool. So if you're playing the game, I can one-shot everything here. This is a low-level map. But if you're playing the game, the visuals are very enjoyable. Okay, everything looks great. So that's my pet here, and he's got some pretty cool skills. Like he gives me more like defense against fire, cold, and lightning. Basically resistance to those damages. And so he's got that little aura going on around him. Pretty cool. So all of these little effects, and you can see that on my character as well, right? So it's going around on my character. That's pretty cool. Everything, it looks great. Okay, this map here is just a little cave, so it doesn't look, it's not a good example, but I don't want to show all the other maps because I don't want to spoil for you guys that are just looking for a review and not try to see everything that's in the game. Okay, one thing that I really like about this game is the boss fights. Boss fights are very challenging for new players, and they are very, like, every boss fight is different. They have really cool skills. There are certain bosses that I spent over an hour, some even like 2 hours trying to beat the boss until I finally beat it. And that was, to me, it gives me very good satisfaction to be able to play a game and have a hard time beating a boss, and then when you beat it, you're just proud of yourself. You're very satisfied. You're happy that you killed that boss. Something that you don't see a lot now. Whenever you play this type of games, it's basically like just click, and you beat the boss, but not with this game. Okay, so that was really cool. Really like that. Even going through the maps, there are certain, I died a lot on just walking around the maps, and that's pretty cool. I feel like it needs to be a little bit hard, especially like being a new player. I was not trying to follow any guides. I was trying to like build my own character, and that was a bit challenging. I'll give you guys a little more detail on that in a little bit. But overall, yeah, the gameplay, really nice. I like it. There are a couple of negatives with the gameplay. So if you get to a new map, or even a map that you have been to before, like this one that is a low level map, and I have been here before. I'm level 68. This is like a level 5 map. The map is completely covered. Okay, so every time you get on a new map, you have to walk around to unlock the map. and that's very annoying. So instead of like, at least for the first time after you walk through the map, they should just be unlocked, you know? Why do you need to learn how to find your way through the map every time that you get to the map to do whatever it is that you need to do? That's a bit annoying. Whenever you're doing quests in the game, you get a little pop-up here that, you know, on the quest that you're doing or whatever. You click on that, it'll bring you to the world map. So let's get back to down here and I'll show you the world map. For example, this is Act 1, so this is the initial map. So basically, let's say you have a quest here, there will be a little yellow icon here, and that's where you gotta teleport to, you know, that's where you gotta teleport to complete that mission. But when you get there, for example, if I go here, I get here, the map is all dark again. There's no arrow, nothing showing me where to go. Sometimes you will see an arrow, but it's just very confusing and it doesn't tell you exactly where you need to go. For example, I feel like if you press tab to see the map in the middle of the screen here, you should have like an icon here, you know, a quest icon here or here, wherever it is that you need to go on the map, right? That way, even if the map is blurred out, you can still have an idea of where you're supposed to go, other than basically having to walk around the entire map trying to find what it is that you need to do. And there are not a lot of details on the map, on the quests, so that's a negative. The quests, they're pretty basic. The information is very basic. You don't really know what to do most of the time. You just gotta walk around the map until you figure out what it is that you need to do. The gameplay, I mean, the monsters are very cool. So these are like the lowest level monsters here. And as you guys can see, like they have like different skills. Each monster has different skills. They look pretty cool. I mean, these are just zombies basically, but they'll have different monsters on every map. For example, like this guy here that I have as a pet, that's one of the monsters on a higher level map. Yeah, so the design, the maps look great, the monsters look great, the skills look great. Okay, so overall, it looks, visuals looks amazing. One other thing that I would say for a free to play player,
How's the clearing?
if you check on the stash, initially that's all you're gonna have. You're gonna have a stash that looks like this, and you're gonna have like 4 tabs. For a free to play player, if I was playing the game and I didn't want to spend any money, I would quit the game. Honestly, I would quit. I can't deal with things not having any sort of like organization, like, you know, just having a couple of tabs for storage and not being able to organize your items. For example, there's no option here on the default tab to just, you know, click somewhere here and be like organized by, you know, by dexterity, organized by armor, organized by level, or organized by character type or anything like that. So the tabs that you get on free to play are very basic. So I feel like they should include all of these other tabs on free to play and make the game really free to play. That way it'll keep the player base up, and it's gonna make it so that other people that are willing to spend money, they buy cosmetics, just like for example Fortnite, right? So whenever Fortnite came out, it was free to play. You didn't have any disadvantage for being free to play compared to other people that paid money to play the game. So what happened? The player base was very high, and a lot of people were like, you know what? Everyone is playing this game, so I'm gonna buy all of these cosmetics. And that's what people do whenever, if people don't want to spend, they're not going to spend to buy these. They're just gonna quit the game. Okay, if I was not willing to spend to buy these tabs, and I'll show you guys the tabs so you can see that they're actually really cool tabs. So if those were included with the game, for example, this is the currency tab, and it shows all of different types of currency that you have to upgrade your gear and to exchange, buy stuff in the game. And you can store all of them here. Very easy to find. Very awesome. This is really nice. The skill jam, so basically all of like the jams and the stuff that you have to buff your skills. Very cool too. And then these are like so these I can basically make it so that they're public and post an item to sell here, then people can message me to buy them. They're called like premium tabs, but I don't really use them that way. I just store items on them. You do have like a hideout where you can set up a shop, and then you can post stuff there for people to just go there and buy, and that's what I use. And that's a really cool system. I'll show you guys that in a little bit. So yeah, the tabs, I mean, the ones that are paid are really awesome. The unique tab that you can sort all of the unique items that you have found already. So if you want to collect everything in the game, if you like collecting stuff, they're all here, you know, by bow. I only have one, so I have one shield, two shield actually. So yeah, really cool. But I feel like these should all be included with the base game and not just the basic tabs, because if I was free to play, honestly, I would just quit. This would be a deal breaker for me. So talking about gear too, before we jump out of this, as you guys can see here, it shows that this gear has like an evasion rating. This has armor and evasion rating, but there's nothing there that says like, you know, recommended for a bow character, recommended for, you know, a mage, recommended for a warrior. I feel like that would be nice to have, especially being new to the game. I had no idea what type of gear I should be wearing, like what type of status should I be focusing on, especially when there are no indications of, like, for example, if I press C, I have 34 strength, dexterity, 148, and 64 intelligence. And then you can see what each of those do, but it doesn't show you what your damage is here. There's nowhere here that shows like your damage. You can see your base damage here, which I only found out later on your weapon. And then whenever you swap weapons, you can see that it changes there, the base damage. So that's basically like your guide for like your damage output is here. And I didn't find that until my second character. So it's not very intuitive. I feel like all of this information should be here, like your basic damage and what each of these attributes is doing to your damage, right? Also, like, I'm a bow character, so I assume this is what I should be using, but I can't tell, right? I could be putting everything in intelligence, but I wouldn't know what intelligence would be doing for my character. So it would be nice to have some more guidance on that, on those, like that aspect of the game. So let's move on. Let's go to my hideout, and I'll show you guys what I was talking about on the shop. This is a very cool system. So after a certain level, you will unlock your hideout. I believe it's after Act 3. And this is my shop.
Trade might be,
So
but don't
basically,
worry.
I can manage shop. And these are the items that I have for sale. So I can post something here. And then I set a price of whatever I want to sell it for. Say like I want to sell it for an Exalt orb. I just put it here.
Someone is
And I
bound
list
to
the
buy
item.
that.
That's it. So it's on sale now. So anyone can find it in the shop, which is really cool. So if you have like a market panel here, you go here, you search for whatever, right? So you find this here, click this icon, you travel to their hideout, and then you can buy the item, right? So that's a really neat system. And basically, if I post something, people search for it, they find my item, they'll click that icon, they'll get teleported here, they can buy my item. Really, really neat feature. I really like that. So that's really amazing. All right, let's say passive skill tree. This is very, very overwhelming for beginners. If you're a new player, if you're looking to start playing the game, use the search bar. For example, if you're a bow character and you're trying to build like a cold damage, you can do search for cold. It will highlight everything that has cold. Seems like I have already selected cold. So it'll highlight everything that says cold on it. All right, so increase cold damage here. And also, but these are also ailments. They include poison and cold and chill. So you can search for different words like chill or like freeze. Like freeze, these like increase freeze build up. Okay, so you can search for all of those items to start making your character, to build your skills. So really cool feature. It makes it less overwhelming once you find this and you know that you can actually use that. This here, I have no clue what this is for, but yeah. So yeah, the skill tree is very overwhelming, but it is very nice. You can build many different builds there for like different classes. One of the things that I don't like is that respecking your skill tree is extremely expensive. So for example, I built a character and I was level 65 and I wanted to try something different, and I had over 200,000 gold, and gold is what you use to respec your character. Basically, I respec once and my build was garbage because I was just trying to do it on my own, and I prefer to do it that way instead of having to follow a guide from someone that has already played the game for hundreds of hours. I prefer to enjoy the game myself and learn how to do it. But I respec once and I had over 200,000 gold, and I went down to like 60,000 gold on one respec. So my character was bricked because I couldn't do any end game content. So I basically just gave up on that character, created this new character, and started playing again. You should be able to respec cheaper, even free, and be able to create your own build and test different builds and test different weapons, test different skills. It doesn't make sense to have this many options and it being so expensive. I guess the goal is for you to play different characters, try different characters or play with the same character for many hours. But that honestly, this grinding this much just to be able to respec, I don't feel like that's a positive. I feel like that's one reason for me to be like, get tired of the game. Like, I don't want to grind this much just to be able to respec my character. I would rather just quit, right? So, I mean, that's me. I don't know, maybe some people feel different. But yeah, respecking, way too expensive. So another thing about the skills that I found that is a bit confusing is what does, even though they do have all of this like extra information on what all of these do, it was a bit hard for me to find. Like, I wanted to play as a poison character, and finding out what should I be using for my weapon, what kind of damage should I be looking for on my weapon. Should I be looking for a high physical damage? What's going to increase my poison damage? Is it going to be like having a high physical damage? Is my poison damage going to be based off of that? Or it's very hard to find where that information is, right? So let's say if I want to play as a cold bow build, which I tried and it was actually fun, But what should I be looking for? Should I be looking for critical damage? Should I be looking for physical damage? Should I be looking for accuracy? Like, what are the stats that I should be looking for? So that's very confusing. I had to Google a lot of this stuff and be like, what should I look for? And I found this bow here that I saw that was doing decent damage, so I just kept using it. And I'm level like 68. I still use a bow level 50 because I haven't found anything better. So that's one of the things that are confusing. So conclusion, overall, the game is totally worth it. Even like I spent $60 on the game to buy the extra tabs, and I feel like with all of this stuff, the game will be totally worth playing as a free-to-play player if this was all included. As a free-to-play, I would quit just because of these, not having all of these extra tabs here to organize, not having any option here to just click an icon and be like sort by helmet or sort by, you know, defense or sort by whatever. I would quit the game. I would not keep playing if I didn't put the money to buying these. I basically haven't bought a new game in a little while, so I decided that I was gonna spend the money and get these instead of buying cosmetics. I just bought all of the different tabs, and that includes the shop tab. So the shop tab, if you're free to play, you don't get any of these. You gotta buy them. So you gotta buy them with these, which cost real money. So if you're free to play, you don't get to use this. So that's an issue, right? And so you're basically missing out on part of the game. So as I mentioned, free to play, it's not going to be great. You're not going to have any of these other options. Like even this tab here that I can post something for sale for people to reach out to me. And I feel like that kind of kills the game, right? As for most free to play. But if they included all of this stuff, I feel like the game would be complete for anyone to play. And it would keep the player base much higher, and the people that want to spend would buy more cosmetics. That's just my thought on it. I mean, I would quit if I hadn't bought these, but I decided that I was gonna play this game because I haven't bought a game in a little while. So that was basically me buying the game by buying those. But boss fights, awesome. Gameplay overall, really good. There are a couple of lags here and there. There are a couple of crashes here and there, but it's still in early game access, so I'm not gonna judge much on that. Cosmetics, everything. I feel like everything looks great. The characters, they look decent. Look at that. The skills look pretty cool. Look at my pet there, like little demon, looks pretty cool. And yeah, I feel like the game is super worth it if you're willing to spend a couple of at least $30 to buy some of the basic tabs and to buy at least one or two of these tabs here. Then you're good to go. Ideally, I spent $60 and you basically get everything that you need, right? And I feel like if they want to keep the game free to play, that's what they should do. Include everything and then just focus on the cosmetics. That way they keep the free to play players playing the game, keeping the gamers population high, and that they can sell more cosmetics for the people that are willing to pay for them. Great game, totally worth it. Maybe you can get over the fact that you don't get all this extra stuff with the free to play, but I would quit if I didn't have all of it. If you guys have any questions, leave it on the comment. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.